Hello everyone. Today we will talk about the physiology of bone. So what is bone composed of? Bones, they consist of a special form of connective tissue, okay? Along with collagen framework, that is saturated with calcium and phosphate salts, mainly hydroxyapatites. You can see here, you can see the formula also. Okay, so basically bone, it is a living and well vascularized tissue. Why well vascularized? I'm using the term well vascularized. Why? Because the total blood flow, it is around 200 to 400 milliliter per minute in adults. So what is the function of bone? It provides structure and support to the body. Okay, and it protects different organs of body as well. It gives mobility and it is involved in the production of blood cells. We had discussed this role in hematology, that there is role of bone marrow in the process of hemopoiesis. Okay. Next, see this figure in which there is pool of calcium in the blood, in the bones. So you can see two colors here. 1% is the reddish color and rest of the 99% is bluish colored part. So what does it represent? 1% is the pool of readily exchangeable form of calcium. That is, it is labile and it is the newly formed type of calcium. Okay, it is readily exchangeable part. Rest of the 99%, it is the pool of stable calcium. It is not easily exchangeable, but can be mobilized by the action of parathormone that is secreted from parathyroid gland. Okay. Now, about the cells that are present in the bones. So, inside the bones, basically, there is presence of osteoblasts, osteocytes, and osteoclasts. So, what are osteoblasts? Blast means to form. Okay, these are the cells involved in the process of formation of the bones, remodeling, and repair of the bones. Okay, so how do they do this? They deposit collagen matrix and release the minerals. So this collagen matrix and the minerals, they get united to form bone mineral. Okay, so osteoblast, they lay down the collagen fiber and they deposit calcium and phosphate. So once these are deposited, they get further hardened by these hydroxyl and osteoid formation is there. Okay, carbonates, they get hardened by these factors and there is formation of osteoid. This is the function of osteoblast. That is the process how which they help in the process of bone formation and bone remodeling. I had already said that bones, they are composed of hydroxyapatite. That is what you are seeing over here, hardened by hydroxyl and the carbonate residues. Now, what are osteocytes? I had used the term osteocytes. The osteoblasts that got trapped inside the bony matrix, these are called as osteocytes. So, basically, osteocytes are the types of osteoblasts. Next term is osteoclast. Okay, what do they do? These are the cells that cause breakdown of the bone. Other word for breakdown is resorption. Don't get confused with reabsorption. It is resorption. Okay, so these are the members of basically monocyte family. Now about the type of bone tissue. See, there are two types of bone tissue. First is the cortical or the compact bone. Second one is the cancellous or the spongy bone. What is the difference between these two? Cortical bone, it forms the hard exterior of the bones. So its main function is to support entire body. Okay, because it constitutes 80% of the weight of skeleton in humans. Okay, now what is it composed of? Cortical bone, it has several small columns called as osteons. Okay, and each of which is a multiple layer of osteoblast and osteoclast around a central canal, that is Haversian canal. You can see the word is written over here, Haversian canal. Okay, so what is that? It is a central canal around which there is multiple layers of osteoblasts and osteoclasts. And on the outer surface of these cortical bones there is presence of periosteum, and on the inner side there is presence of endosteum. Okay, you can see in this figure. You can see Haversian system, osteon, and a multiple layer of osteoblasts and osteoclasts. So you can see compact bone, okay, and the layer of periosteum. You can see this outermost layer, periosteum, and inner part is endosteum. Okay, you can see the structure of compact bone over here. Now about the cancellous bone or the spongy bone. So it is highly vascular but less dense and more flexible bone. Okay, it is very soft and weak as compared to the cortical bone. It has more surface area. That's why it is involved in the metabolic activities. Now, what are the sites of these spongy bones? These are located at the end of long bones near the joints and inside the vertebra. Here also you can see the spongy bone. Okay, that is a representation of structure of bone. In figure A, you can see outer periosteum, inner endosteum, and at the ends of these bones there is presence of spongy bones. Okay, you can see the spongy bone over here. Close overview of, in the B part, you can see compact and spongy bone, Haversian canal, osteon, everything you can see over here. Now about the process of bone formation and resorption. How does that happen? In the process of bone formation, I had already told you it is a function that is carried out by osteoblasts, and they lay down type 1 collagen and they form new bone. And about osteoclasts, what have we discussed? That it helps in resorption of the bone. Osteoclasts, they erode and absorb the previously formed bone. Okay, so there are two terms on which you have to pay attention, rank and rankle. You can see in this figure. Okay, so what is rankle? Receptor activator for nuclear factor kappa beta ligand. Okay, so the stromal cells that are in the bone marrow, osteoblasts and T lymphocytes. You can see osteoblasts over here. Okay, osteoblast, they express rankle on their surface. Okay, you can see rankle, you can see osteoblast, and when these cells, they come in contact with the rankle receptors, that is monocytes that are expressing rank. And osteoclast precursors are basically monocyte. We have discussed it earlier. You can see this association, osteoblast expressing rankle, osteoclast precursor having rank. So we can say there is rank-rankle interaction between the cell pairs. Okay, so these events, they result in differentiation of monocytes into mature osteoclasts. You can see there is formation of mature osteoclasts. And what is the function of mature osteoclast? What does it do? It will help in resorption of the bone, and the products of digestion, these are absorbed, okay, by the process of endocytosis. They move across the osteoclast by the process of transcytosis. You can see acid, enzymes, okay, inside the bone. There is process of bone resorption. Okay, now you can see one term here, osteoprotein. Okay, what is the function? It is secreted by precursor cells that regulate the differentiation of monocytes by competing with rank for binding with rankle. So basically we can say that this osteoprotein, okay, it will be helpful in the process of bone formation, resorption and bone repair. Thank you very much. In the next lecture, I'll tell you about the diseases of bones, that is osteoporosis and osteopetrosis. Thank you very much.